Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Dune. It's a movie starring the guy who's going to play the early version of Willy Wonka, as well as the chick who sang really awesomely and got from The Greatest Showman, the guy who, or the chick who had him, he's like, I'm going to just have a whole show just for you. It also stars, wait for it, Oscar Isaac, as well as Jason Momoa, and Zendaya, and Thanos. So it's got all the people in it. So, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off with the furry, there's a small part that I think you could say was furry, but I'll let you be the judge. So moving on to the good and the bad. So this movie is 2.5 hours, and I'm just going to let you know something that I didn't know when I first watched it. It's only the first half of the book that it's based on. I didn't know that going in. I should have, because it starts off with part 1. Like a little title card that's like part 1. So me, I was just like, oh, I guess it's going to be like the Justice League Zack Snyder version, where there's part 1 and part 2 or whatever. But then I just didn't process that, like, part 2, like, right around where I was just thinking, oh man, is this where they're going to do part... And then it just ends! It just ends! There is no part 2 yet, by the way. This isn't one of those ones where they filmed all of the movie for the whole book, and they're just releasing this now, and then a year from now. No! They haven't even started filming part 2! Like, what? That means we're going to have to wait at least 2 years for all the pre-production and post-production and actual writing and blah, and getting all those famous actors that they're going to have for this one. Like, come on, man. Oh, I should also mention that it also has Dave Bautista in it. So, just very frustrating. I will just say that. All that being said, I still think you should watch this in theaters. It is, even the director, David Villanueva, I'm probably pronouncing his name or whatever, but like that guy, he also did Blade Runner 2049, which is just one of those movies that you need to see in a theater. So this movie has that epic scale, the scale that is really necessary for a Dune movie. You really should watch this in theaters if you can. It is so very much worth it because it has the scale that you need. It has the vistas, and just the sheer epicness of this movie deserves to be seen in theaters. And I would say that this is a Matrix level quality interpretation or film version of the Dune book. Just to let you know, I'm a little biased because I read the Dune book originally years ago, and then I went back and I read the prequels and the Dune book again, and then I was like, so then this most recent time, which was only a few months ago, I went back and I read the prequels, followed by the prequels, followed by the Dune book, and I gotta be honest with you, as much as I love this movie, and this movie is awesome, and as much as I love the original Dune book, after reading the prequels to the Dune book, I like the prequels better because a lot of the characters that, they're in this, but like, they don't get enough screen time before things happen. They get so much more of a backstory, and so that you appreciate the things that happen to them in this book or this movie so much more. And I don't think they'll ever do the prequels because nobody cares about the prequels, I guess, because they're written by the guy's son. But I like the prequels better than the original book. That's just me. But this, I will say that while it is 2.5 hours, it only covers the first half of the book. I think that was the appropriate steps to take. Not filming the second half was not the appropriate step to take. But there were so many scenes in this movie that I remember from the book. And I was like, that's almost how I pictured it in my brain. Like, that's how epic this is. They do a really good job of translating the important bits from the book onto screen. And I think, granted, I have all this backstory that I have, so maybe I'm not the best judge, but I still think that with how this movie was filmed and with how they took the time to explain things, I still think that people who haven't read the book will still enjoy this movie, other than the fact that it stops halfway through. So if you can get over that and understand that it'll probably be 2 more years until they finish it, assuming that it makes enough money, because this is one of those ones that Warner Brothers decided to simultaneously release on HBO Max, and the director's like, bro, we need the money in theaters to get enough money to make the second half. What are you doing? And so Warner Brothers was like, well, we'll factor in the HBO Max things as well. And it's like, so go and see this movie in theaters if you want to see a second one. And I want to see a second one, so go see this in theaters. Like, seriously, look at all those big name actors and actresses that were on that. And they're in this. This movie has that scale, and it has like a really good, like the thing that After Earth tried to do of creating this really unique world and having it integrated and all that, the thing that After Earth tried to do, this movie actually does. So if you like that just epic scale of like, they don't need to explain every little thing to you because they just show how it works in their universe, like in Blade Runner 2049. That's the same sort of thing here. So I really like this director, producer, whatever. Like, he has vision, and his vision deserves to be on a big screen, and he accomplishes it fantastically. So I really liked seeing all those actors. I liked seeing the events. It didn't feel too long, but you still got to appreciate just the sheer scale of some of these things. Like, once you've seen, like, Independence Day 2, don't see that movie, it sucks, but once you've seen movies, where you have just these, like, or, Transformers 7 or whatever the hell the number they're on, once you see these movies with, like, truly epic scales, you're like, well, how are they going to show? But no, this movie does an excellent job, and it doesn't, like, smash you in the face with like, oh, you must appreciate, and look at this, and this is how the scale works, and it's such a scale. No, they don't need to do that to you because they just show you, and you just see, and you're like, holy shit, the scale for these things, and it just works. I will say that the one major change from the book that I noticed, I'm sure there was other changes, but from what I noticed, is that they changed Liet Kynes from a dude to a chick. I think it works in this movie. Now, if they ever try to make the prequels, that's going to mess all the things up. But I think if they ever make the prequels, I don't think it'll be like a direct line up with this, seeing as we gotta wait 2 years for the second half of the movie anyway. So in this context, I think that having her as a chick was fine. It didn't affect the story any by, changing from the dude to the chick. But like I said, the prequels, it would probably affect things a bit more. But other than that, yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I hope you go and see it. Let me know if you've read any of the books or any of the prequels, in the comments down below. Alrighty, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.